Good day, everyone. So, today we are tackling a pretty deep and dark subject. It's the subject of suicide thoughts and suicide in general. As this will be dealing with a dark subject, anyone who's not up for this subject should probably stop watching right now. That being said, if you struggle with suicide thoughts yourself, there will be links down below to places you can get help. Don't be afraid to ask for help. I will add some tips at the end of this video on how I've coped with these things, and hopefully they can be of some help. But do not be afraid to ask for help. This is a video to try to help other people in the same situation. I am okay. I'm not gonna kill myself. So just relax. Enjoy. So, the first thing I want to talk about is what causes suicide thoughts. What causes a person to want to kill themselves. And this can be caused by many things, stress being one of them, depression being a second thing that can cause this. There's no one cause for suicide thoughts or the want to commit suicide. But there are some characteristics that can lead up to this. And sometimes suicide comes completely unexpected. Before we go on, I would like to state that I have been through all parts, all sides of suicide. I have myself both had suicide thoughts and attempted suicide. I've also been affected by someone else killing themselves, a person very close to me. So I have some knowledge from all aspects of this. So let's get into what some warning signs are for people not themselves affected, but in others. Sometimes these suicide thoughts don't present themselves in a clear way to anyone else than the person themselves, or maybe not even to the person themselves. But sometimes you can see or notice something that can give a sign to the current mental state of the person. Stuff like not believing that you're good enough for anyone, and therefore starting to retract yourself from social congregations or retract yourself from friends, trying to stick to your own area, your own safe space if you want. This can be a sign of inner struggle. This can also just be a sign of being shy. So it's not a conclusive thing, but a lot of people who go through these kind of thoughts pull back to themselves and think better while they're amongst themselves, or at least they think they do. And as a person who has gone through this, I know a lot of the feelings that lead up to these thoughts. I've had thoughts of not being good enough for my friends, thoughts of wasting people's time, thoughts of always being a burden for all the people around me, and thoughts that basically put you in a situation where what you do is never enough to pay back what people do for you. And when you're in one of these positions where you don't feel like you contribute as much as everyone else, it tears on your mind. It really does. And when you sit there knowing that people around you are trying to help you as best as you can, this is why it can be hard to help someone who has suicide thoughts. When you're in the depth of it, you can't believe that people are helping you, and you don't want them to, in a way, because you know that you won't, or at least you think to yourself, I did at least, that you will never be able to help them back. You will never be able to pay them back for the things that you've gotten from them, the help that they have provided. And it's very destructive. Now, another thing you can watch out for with other people is self-harm. A person who is suicidal sometimes starts to harm their own body in some way. This can either be through pinching your own skin to leave marks, chewing on your own tongue or cheek to inflict pain to yourself, or in any other way making yourself suffer because you believe that you deserve to suffer. This can be through physical pain, as I explained, or simply through mental pain, not allowing themselves to be happy or to be cheered up, or not allowing themselves to have a good time. These things can be a sign that someone is struggling with depression and is struggling with their own mental state. These might not be signs of someone being suicidal, but it could be useful to talk to these people and see if there's anything going on there. Because even if you feel like it's infringing on them or you're intruding them, if you can save them from the hell that they're going through, that's worth the possible shame of intruding on someone. Now, I'm not telling everyone to go out there and try to find people to help like this. But if you see this in your friends, the people who are close to you, talk to them. Now, to anyone out there who might be struggling with this already, I would like to tell you guys my story and what I've gone through. And hopefully, through me telling you my story, and possibly you coming to me telling me your story, we can at least get to know better ways of coping, and maybe both of us can grow a little bit. So my story starts back in 6th grade. I had gone through a 4 years period of bullying from my classmates. It started roughly around halfway through the 2nd grade, and it just kept going and going. It became worse through the 4th and 5th grade, and during 6th grade, I had close to no friends. I felt lonely every time at school. I spent pretty much every day worrying because I had to go to school, I had to learn stuff, and then during the recess I had nothing to do. I had nobody there, and I basically felt like an outcast from the group of people. This made me a very introvert person. I sat a lot for myself and thought about things myself. And a couple days after a event that happened, it's a violent event. I'm not gonna talk about it right now, but a couple of days after that, I took a rope from the school, like a skipping rope. I tied it up to one of the stairs, and I jumped. Fortunately for me, I guess, the rope was not tied well enough, so as soon as my weight hit the bottom of the rope itself came loose. I was approached by a teacher not long after due to the sound of me falling. I came away from it with a rope burn on my neck and a couple of bruises and a wrist that was, out of socket. This was the first time I attempted suicide. The second time was an attempted drowning. This one happened a couple of years later. This was during the period when things were starting to look up in a way, but I was very mentally broken down at this point. I gave up and tried to drown myself in the bathtub, but my dad pulled me out of it before I could drown. Now, what I did after this, or, kind of during the second one, was I had started digging deep into myself, ignoring the world around me. I had buried myself in the world of music. I was always listening to something. I had probably very dark music on. Like I was listening to stuff like Black Sabbath and Metallica, and this is where my enjoyment of the Saint Anger album came in. So I had started developing myself musically, and I was also developing myself as an actual drummer during this time, which led to a lot of good things afterwards, but that's a whole different story. I had found something that was of my interest, and that was also gaming. Gaming was a big thing for me back then. And these things were things I could hold on to. They were things that I could use for my defense. And I listened to the words of the songs. I listened to what they said. I listened to the meanings they had. They spoke of how we aren't wrong, we're different, we have just as much right to be there as the other people, the ones that are not us. It brought me back from a dark place and gave me the power to, instead of feeling insulted or feeling bad when I went to school or whenever I was outside, it gave me the power to just walk around, look at people with an intense hatred for people. But at least I wasn't blaming myself anymore. I was blaming other people. Now, I've grown away from that recently anyways, but it gave me the strength that I needed. So I would recommend to people who struggle with this out there, find the thing that you enjoy, find the thing that you can, find the thing that gives you the power that you need. Find whatever you need to build yourself up again. Because you're worth being there. Never believe that you're not worth being around. Because the people that are around you, the people that are there, the people that you call friends, even if you don't have many, the people that care about you for a reason. And that is the reason we need to focus on. And it's not going to be easy. You will never be completely healed from these kind of events or this kind of mental state. But don't give up. Find the things that help you. Now, with this, I feel it's also important that I state things about social anxiety, since I mentioned that earlier. Social anxiety can be really crippling for a person, and I would like to state to the people that struggle with social anxiety, the people you interact with during your real life, the people you interact with to a normal day, you are a very small part of their life. A very small part. For example, when you go to the store, you buy something from them, you're probably, like 2 minutes of their day? And that's a very, very small part of a day. If you see someone outside, or let's say you fall in the middle of the street and someone sees you, that's like less than 0.1% of their life. That's nothing. They're probably never gonna remember you. So don't worry about what other people think, because you're such a small part of their life. Now, there's some people you're a bigger part of their life, like family, girlfriend, or close friends. But most of the time, you're just a small part. So if you mess up, that's okay. It's never as bad as we think it is. It never is. It's probably 1/10 or 100th of the severity that we think it is. So don't worry. Now, I want to talk about a couple of things that help keep me going nowadays. Because I've had kind of a relapse back to my old times with the depression I went through and the breakdowns I had. And I would like to give a thanks to the people that keep me going. Because I see a lot of people every day on Twitter, on YouTube, and whenever I communicate with people. I see people that have a love for what I do, for my channel, and for me. I would like to thank all of you. All of you. I would like to thank Sith, White Sith Male. Thank you for being around and just helping me out today, so I need some cheering up. Thank you to Eagle Matrus, something like that. Thank you to you for sticking around and being there when I needed someone to talk to. Thank you to Laura, to Wendy, to Sandwich Wench, to Megan, and to all the other people that have helped me through this. There's a lot of you, and I can't remember all of you. But to you guys, you are part of the reason why I can now say every time I think, what if I just died? What if I just wasn't here anymore? I can now tell myself, no, because people care about you. People miss you. People want you in this world. They want you to continue. Don't leave them behind. So I'd like to thank all of the people who have been there for me. Even if it's just a message when I feel down, it means a lot. And this is how people can help too. If you see someone who's feeling down, only a small message, a small message is enough to cheer them up. A small message can be enough to give them that small drive to keep going. Anyways, guys, thank you guys for watching, and stay classy.